Hey everyone, today is Wednesday. I knew I asked this question a long time ago, but I asked you guys to ask your questions about real estate, Q&A format, and I'll go over and respond to those comments. It's been a couple weeks because I did take a vacation and I've been pretty busy trying to catch up from coming back from that vacation, but here we are. I want to go over these questions, name off who's the winner of today's Starbucks card, and then open the opportunity again for next week for the next Q&A session. So diving right into this week's questions, Craig Ailman asks, or states, I'm closing on my first home on Monday. What are the first things I should look into as far as maintenance or fixes for an older home? Well, that's actually a really good question. Actually, I would say look at your inspection report and see what they have listed on that inspection report. Typically, what you're going to find on that inspection report is that the areas around the windows or the doors for the caulking has probably cracked or peeled from the UV light. I would highly suggest taking the 10-20 minutes to walk around your home, reseal all that up, because what that's going to do is going to stop all that water damage for the next big rainstorm you may have, and stop that water from protruding inside the house, which could cause damage down the road. This is something that you want to do as maintenance every year on your house. Go around, make sure everything's still sealed. But for you moving to your house, that'd be one of my first suggestions you to do. Also look at the inspection report, see if there's any cracked power outlets, because if there are any cracks, that's potential hazard for your kids putting their fingers inside there, or pets you may have. So that's another good step to do. And then also just whatever else on that list that is small cosmetic repairs or small repairs, easy repairs to do, but have a big impact for not only the cosmetic look of the house, but also the safety of the house as well. Our second question comes from Jamie Keaton. He asks, can a poor soldier invest in real estate to make money? If so, what do they need to concentrate on, and what type of initial investment are we talking about? Well, here comes the great thing about being a soldier or being anywhere in the military, is that you have access to your VA loan, which is a zero down investments or zero down 100% financed loan, which means really you don't have to have money to come to the table. Now you still have to have money for appraisals and inspections and any type of repairs you have to do, and make sure that you save up for that first year or so of having that property before getting into it. But the great thing is you don't have to have any money down to pay to the mortgage company. So FHA loan, you're looking at 3.5% down. Conventional, you're starting at 5%. And if you're doing a true investment, that's 20% down. The great thing about the VA loan, you can use it up to 4 units, 4-unit property, multifamily houses. So my wife and I, our first house using our VA loan was a duplex. We came 0% down because it was a VA 100% back loan. And also we had our tenant paying our rent. So this is what I like to call house hacking, zero mortgage on the property. So a lot of people are saying, they want to move, or they PCS to a new area and they want to buy a property that will hold value. The best way I see it is buy an investment property like a duplex, where when day one you move in, that BH is now coming to your pocket because your tenant is paying your mortgage. So what other things can I do to concentrate on? Well, make sure your credit score is good enough for that mortgage company you're going to be using. VA doesn't actually have a real credit score limits, but the mortgage companies and their investors do have a credit score limit. So make sure you know which company you're going to use, get that pre-qual letter from them, and then also make sure you have your debts down too. So look, one of the big things for financial, getting your approval from that mortgage company, is you're going to look at how much debt you have and how much income you have. Now, from being in the military, most of us are very set in stone on what our payment is going to be. You know exactly what you're going to make now. You're going to know what you're going to make next year once you get that promotion. So the big thing you want to focus on is your debts. Make sure that your monthly payments are minimal on those debts before you get qualified, because that's going to increase the amount you could get a loan for. Our third question comes from John Acosta. He asks, when looking for a realtor, what questions should one ask to identify the best choice? That's a good question because I'm a realtor. The thing you should be doing is actually interviewing the realtors that are available. So a lot of people will give you a referral, and that's good. You should talk to those referrers because they have communication, or they've worked with them before. So it's hopefully it's a good choice to work with. But for example, like San Antonio, we have 14,000 realtors here in San Antonio. Sometimes I have friends who don't choose to utilize my services for realtors or as a realtor, and that's perfectly fine, because unfortunately what happens is the communication between the realtor and the client needs to be uniform. So if my personality doesn't match your personality, or vice versa, if your personality doesn't match that realtor, move on to the next one. Don't just pick one because a company sent you there. That's one of the things that there's some companies that will give you a bonus to use what their preferred realtor. If that realtor doesn't match your personality, ask for a different one. It's not going to hurt anyone's feelings. I understand there's 14,000 other choices you can choose here in San Antonio. So if you don't choose my services, that's great. Obviously, I would love to work with you and see if we can make a good match. But that's one of the things I'll do, is sit down with them, see if your personality matches. Also, ask if they have any assistants. Assistants actually help out a lot too. If they're out of town, or if you really need to reach them in a desperate matter, that's another way you could actually benefit from having an assistant, is they could answer some of the questions that will help you until the realtor can get back on the phone. Also, their company and their location, where are they located? If they're not located in that area, or they don't really know the area looking to purchase a home at, that might not be the best realtor for you. Also, for myself, I like to put myself with investments. I love investments, long-term investments, not flipping houses. So if you're looking for someone that's trying to flip a house, you might want to go to a different realtor. But if you're looking for someone who's looking for long-term investments or rental properties or commercial rentals for leases, I'll be the person to go to. So everyone kind of has a specialty in their niche. So find someone that works well with you, and those are some of the questions you probably want to ask them, kind of see what their background is before you start going into contract with them. Our final question for today is from Matthew Prado. Now, he asked two questions, so I'm going to answer them in two different segments here. The first one I'm going to tackle is financing an important step before you begin the search of a new home? Yes, very important. If you're looking in a community that the homes are $300,000, and you find the dream home that you want, and you absolutely love this house, and you're already imagining where your furniture is going to go, and you're already figuring out where you're going to cut the little doggy door in for your dog coming in and out of the backyard, and you're already looking at furniture for the outside and barbecues, you've gone too far. You need to first start off with the financing. That's a big, important step. And the reason why is because you need to figure out where you're actually approved for. If you find that house in that $300,000 range, but you're only approved for $250,000, that's going to change you, potentially in a different neighborhood, or maybe a different style house in that neighborhood that you really like. So make sure you get financing first, because that's going to set you on the right path. One of the questions a lot of people ask me is, what time should they start getting financing or start talking to a lender? I would say about 2 to 3 months out from the actual time you're trying to look to purchase a home. So going backwards, I like to play it backwards. Once you, from closing day, let's say from closing day, go back 30 days. That's the date you put the house under contract. You need probably about 2 to 3 weeks to actually find that house. And then, so that puts you about 2 months. And then that third month is a lender. So the reason why I like to work with that lender the third month, or have my clients work with the lender 3 months out, is because they can find out if there's any necessary steps they need to take to get approved first off. And they also have the time to turn in the necessary paperwork. So that way, when we're actually shopping for a house and we're going through the process of closing on that house, there's no more issues with the lender, and there's no contingencies that or big red flags we're gonna have to worry about with the lender. It's as simple as get the house under contract, work our negotiations, and have a happy closing, versus trying to stress out about getting documents turned in and contingencies taken care of for the mortgage company itself. The second question Matthew asked is, how important is it to get a market analysis for the surrounding area where I'm considering to buy? So we call that a CMA, and there's also actually another thing called an RMA. Now, the reasons why this is important, and yes, I agree with you, this is an important step to take, is you want to understand what's the long-term benefit, or what's the long-term investment on this property. Like I said, I'm a very long-term thought process on this house. Now, with military personnel, they have to think exit strategies and figure out, if I get my PCS orders in 2 years, what am I going to do with this house? Well, if you don't have a CMA and understanding what the market analysis is in that location, that neighborhood, you might be in a position where you're going to be having to sell the house for less than you owe. Less than you owe, or come out of pocket and pay that difference, which is something you don't want to be in. So make sure you understand the market before you purchase a house. And here's the second step: ask your realtor for a RMA as well, a rental market analysis of that neighborhood too. If you can't sell your property with a profit, or at least come out even, the second option, and I said this in a video before, and that's why I love this question, because it brings it right back into my long-term investments. If you have the RMA, you'll be able to understand what the house could rent out for. Are you able to cover your mortgage with the rental in that neighborhood, or the rental analysis in that neighborhood? Or are you going to be able to make some money each month. There's going to be a whole other video on that with looking at investment properties and how do you actually break it down, 50% rule. Actually, I've done a video on 50% rule. Go check out that video, 50%. It's a great video on long-term investments, looking for specifically rental properties, but it's going to help steer you to the right direction. So Matthew, thank you for that question. That's all we had for this last week, or this week of Q&As. We're going to be doing this, I'm hoping, every other week at the minimum. Hopefully, if we have enough questions, we can start breaking it down to every single week. And the best part of this this Q&A is that one of these people right now are about to win a free Starbucks card. So here we go. Without further ado, let me grab the Chevy hat and draw a name out of this. And Matthew, I know you submitted 2 questions. It's only one question, or only one of your names in here. So the winner for today is John Acosta. I'll be sending you a link to make sure I have your address right, and then I'll send you a free coffee. Thank you so much for sending you guys questions. Like I said, I'll post another post up here to ask for more questions. Please submit those up, because the faster it gets filled up, the faster I can do these videos and give you guys more free Starbucks. So I'll see you guys next time. David Caraccio with the Vet Group at Covenant Partners Realty. Have a great day.